What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls coming up for y'all right around the corner. On today's show, Bobby Marks with some interesting words about the Immanuel Quickley contract and how it's impacting Josh Giddey and the rest of his restricted free agent class. We are all still waiting on that Giddey deal to get done. Also, Luka, big money, signed with the Lakers over the weekend. Just earlier today, De'Aaron Fox signed big with San Antonio. How does that impact what the Bulls might be trying to do in the free agent class of 2026? We're going to talk about all of that next. It's a simple yes or no poll question, What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls _Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow. BWL Sports. Queen of the controls is the one and only KDW. What up, KD?
Hi.
And back, rested, ready to go through the rest of the dog days after some time off. Will the Gottlieb back home.
Hey guys,
Hi, Will.
how we doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm great.
That's
I'm happy
great.
to be back.
Dynamite.
Let's go.
Did it feel like it's a sufficient length of time?
I mean, it's never long enough. Let's be real.
Sure.
However, it was a nice vacation. Nice
And
time off.
the thing that you were worried about, which was the Josh Giddey contract going
Didn't
down while
happen,
you were
yeah.
gone,
Yeah.
didn't happen.
It did not. It's pretty crazy that it still hasn't happened.
The Bulls were just looking out for you, man.
Yeah.
They were like,
That's
we
what
don't
they
want
do.
to
They
sign
care
Giddey
about
on the
me.
dotted line
They
until
put
Goat is
me
back at
above
work.
themselves continually
selfless.
and
Yes.
consistently, and I appreciate them for it.
It is a cool thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, not bad. You had a good time, though?
it was a good time.
The first thing I said to you when I saw you outside before we came in was you look very rested.
Thank you.
You
Yeah,
look- It's a good look on you.
I feel
man.
rested. I feel like obviously the off season is like a different amount of everything than our regular season, but it's still like the season ends, you get right into draft coverage, you have the draft, you have free agency, we go to Vegas. It's like it is kind of nonstop. And so when we talk about dog days the other week, like this is really it. And I know you guys are taking some time off here in a few weeks shortly, so that will be great. But we need it. We need a little rejuvenation period because even though the Bulls get all summer, we only get a handful of it.
This is true.
Yeah.
Great philosophical way of looking at
Very
that.
philosophical.
Yeah, well done.
It's
sir.
good,
Got a
though.
lot of time to ponder.
Glad you
Yes.
came back rested. Because sometimes this,
We'll see how long
know,
it lasts.
Depending on what you're doing, it's like, I need a vacation from this vacation. Come home from my vacation more tired than when I left.
Yeah, that can happen.
Some people do
That
that.
definitely happens.
Quickly, I know, Katie, you're probably not going to tell that whole story on the air because it was weird, but Katie had a good time at Lala, everybody. The Lalas lalla'd successfully.
I did. I had some claustrophobia for the first time in my life, but it was good. I made a new friend on the way home, and that's the story. Shout out Christy.
Shout out Christy,
Did
who
you-
is still alive.
Were you,
Great news.
Did you see, were you able to see Earth, Wind, and Fire?
I heard them. I did not see them.
Okay.
Well,
They came out during Sabrina Carpenter's performance.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
she
real?
brought
yeah,
them out.
yeah.
that's a pretty
That's very
awesome
cool.
little
My
cameo.
first thought was, oh, good 70% of this audience has no
Yeah,
idea
or
who
like,
that is
who-
on the stage.
Who's
right there.
this?
But yeah, she's a great performer. I always thought that about her. And yeah, she knows what she's doing. Like her music's like she knows. You can tell she's studied.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. But yeah, man. Good show.
Shout out everybody hanging out with us on YouTube. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Fine Day saying, Will be rested until we find out how much Acme signed Giddey for. Then we all spiral into next season. I need a vacation from my fandom of the Bulls. You and me both, Fine Day. Thinking and speaking the same language. Speaking of Giddey. Oh my God, how many more days we're going to talk about this guy and his stupid freaking contract?
Literally 5 minutes in. This is where that's at.
We're so back,
minutes.
baby.
Happy
Happy Monday, Bulls Nation.
Yay. lunes.
Okay, so Bobby Marks was doing one of his just little chats with himself on the NBA on ESPN podcast channel.
Bobby's Chats with Bobby.
Bobby's Chats with Bobby. That's right. Which occasionally give us some interesting little nuggets, including most recently when he had this to say about Immanuel Quickley and thus Josh Giddey, Katie. The Immanuel Quickley contract, that 5 for 150 in bonuses, it almost gets to 160, has totally screwed up restricted free agents because that's where agents are looking at like the benchmark. Certainly Josh Giddey's like, quote, I want that contract. Putting those words in Giddey's mouth, not saying he heard Giddey say that. But that number has screwed up a lot of things. He also went on to say it's a rich contract, referring to Quickley's.
Yes.
I don't think Toronto got enough heat for that number because Quickley is not a $32 or $33 million a year guy.
True.
So blame it on Quickley that we don't have a Josh Giddey figure yet because everybody said, hey, I want that Quickley money. And the Bulls to Josh Giddey are saying, not so much.
Yeah, I'm not.
Jonathan.
Did anybody hear that?
My mic wasn't on, but
So,
I said
no, it doesn't count. Nope, sorry.
I said not
But
so
look, it's-
quickly.
It is Josh
It's always
Giddey
better when
along
you
with a
repeat
few
it.
other restricted free agents who are going through this, but none of them are getting that money
Yeah.
from the team that is trying to sign them to a new deal.
Yeah, well, one, I don't blame Quickley at all.
No.
Blame the Raptors.
Exactly.
All right? Don't blame Quickley at all for
Don't
signing.
hate the player, hate the game.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, hey, here's $32 million.
Sign
I
me
refuse to sign this, sir. Absolutely not. He signed that deal immediately. Shout out to his agent as well. They felt he was worth that at the time. Did any of us think that? I don't think so. But again, the Raptors, that's what matters. The people who are going to pay your contract. I can definitely understand his point, though. Like, when you see that and you're seeing just the kind of player that he is, and you're thinking in your head, well, dude, I'm better than him. You should be paying me that kind of money, straight up. And then you forget that this is the Chicago Bulls organization, my friend. It's not going to go down that way. Quigley wouldn't have got that number here. I can promise you that. That wouldn't have happened that way. But they believed in him more, you know what I'm saying, than maybe his talent led onto the floor. I'm talking about Quigley. And, yeah, that's the contract that he has. But if that's your only thing that you're using to come to the Bulls with and say, this is why I should be getting this money because this dude that I'm better than is getting this money,
Yeah.
you're going to need a better argument for me than that. Because Quigley is not going to be that argument for me to make me say, oh, okay, I'm just looking at the Raptors like, well, that wasn't the move to make. And we are going to be smarter than that team and not give you that money, especially when you have nowhere else to go. Once again, shout out Officer and the Gentleman.
I mean, I think that's spot on. Like, I think a lot of times when a guy signs a contract, especially when he kind of sets the market for similar players, we saw Jalen Suggs, Jalen Johnson, Şengün, Jalen Green, a lot of Jalen's, all sign
So many
in that
Jalens.
same neighborhood, some more than others. But and so I think for some players that sort of precedent does work. But in another way, and I think with Quickley specifically, it was like that precedent is an example of this is an overpay. We cannot go to this number just because just because the Raptors paid him that much money doesn't mean that we have to pay our guy. It just means that like this is what a bad deal is and we have to do a better job. So I think like you think about it too in terms of if the ends of the bracket are Quickley's 32 and Patrick Williams 18, it's like you can't just sign these guys because that's what somebody else is paying them. At the end of the day, like you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. And I think
Exactly.
there's like in a vacuum, what is this guy worth? But there's also the context of it and the landscape of the marketplace in terms of what other teams can offer you. And I think the Bulls have leverage in terms of restricted free agency. They can match any offer. There aren't any other teams with cap space that could come in. The one that didn't make that offer, and they've got a restricted free agent of their own to worry about in the Brooklyn Nets with Cam Thomas. And so when you put all those things together, the Bulls have a ton of leverage. And I think Giddey's doing the right thing in terms of waiting to see if the Bulls will come up. He should be asking for as much money as he wants. These guys have like a 10-year period to make generational wealth, and like then that's kind of it. So it's like you never blame a player for trying to get as much money as he can, but these are the rules. I don't think that necessarily the rules are totally fair, but this is what it is. And so I think the Bulls are right to hold their ground. And as we talked about for a couple of weeks now, like there's just no reason for them to budge.
And I did find it interesting the way that Marks said he didn't think Toronto got enough heat for that Quickley deal. And it kind of made me as a Bulls fan think, is that part of the reason why AK is holding as firm as he is? Because he doesn't want to deal with backlash if he did just give Giddey and his agent the figure that they were asking for. Because, you just mentioned Patrick Williams a second ago, Goat, and it's not like the Patrick Williams contract is a super rich one, but after giving him that contract, when people questioned whether or not he earned it or they paid him for his potential, he went out and had the most meh of meh Patrick seasons, and there are lots of meh Patrick seasons, and it's like, stop bidding against yourself. And, not to say that I don't think AK particularly cares about getting heat from whether it's Bobby Marks or national media or local media or whatever else. That dude just got himself another fresh contract extension. Congrats again, AK. Well earned. Great job. Proud of you. But, even still, just the semblance of, if you give out contracts that then nationwide, league-wide perception is, ooh, that was an overpay?
Yeah.
Then you, as the person who offers that contract, got to deal with that and the fallout from that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Bulls want to give him the money. That's their guy. You know what I mean? And he didn't showcase everything this season for them to be like, well, this is why we should give it to you. And then they look around and say, well, we have all the leverage here as well. Yeah. And then they looked and saw what they did with, like you said, season of one Patrick Williams, and were like, we don't want to do that again. That's the right approach. It is nothing wrong with how they're thinking or how they're going about it. I haven't had any disagreement with how this front office is doing it or going about it. I know what they want to do. I'm with you, man. I know they want to get this dude a bunch of money and say, see, look at what we did here. You saw it with Zach LaVine. Yep. Of course we give him a bunch of. We're not letting this dude go. This is a multiple-time All-Star. He's going to lead our team out here. They want to have the great video of them sitting in a palatial estate with that contract laid out. He could just sign it with that hair blowing in the wind and just looking amazing while he's doing it. They want that. They want to put that out there, man. But I just like the fact that they're like, okay, we know the backlash is going to be crazy if we give them this money. And also, we can't give up all of this leverage that we have, especially for a guy that we didn't get everything we should have got for him when we made this trade. So I get it, but this is the way that they should be going about it, man. Take all that time in the world that you need. I know you want to give it to him, but just wait. He'll come around.
I guess I don't think the Bulls care too much about perception or backlash.
Okay.
They've never really shown that they care about that to me. That's never stopped them from doing any other moves, right? They've always just done what they're going to do because that's what they believe. And I think that's probably for the best. You can agree or disagree with what their decisions are, but you don't want a front office that's waffling based on what they think the fans will do. They're supposed to be the ones that are smarter than the fans, that are going to make the tough decisions regardless of what the fans think, because it's what's best for the organization. Mm-hmm. And I think deep down, they do that. The issue is, I think that those moves haven't worked. And so for me, I think the real issue here is that they've seen what it looks like to have Zach LaVine's $40+ million contract on the books, Patrick Williams getting $18 million, and DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball's $20 million of dead money for 3 years on the books, where they just were completely paralyzed. They weren't able to make any trades because any trade they make would have had to have made them worse. They didn't want to be worse, so they couldn't do any of that. They're above the cap, but below the tax. They can't go below. So they just had no flexibility. And I think the big thing right now is keeping options open, keeping themselves in a position where they can make moves, whether it's consolidation trades, whether it's creating cap space, which we'll talk more about in the second part of this show, whether it's signing other guys in free agency, whatever it may be. I think that flexibility really matters to them, and that's why they have operated this way, because they know they have a chance to get flexibility. And I think getting good players on good contracts is the key to building a good roster and a good franchise. And just because they like Giddey and want to keep him doesn't mean that you overpay him to do so. And I think that's just the reality of the situation. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just the Bulls have an opportunity to get a good player on a good deal, and that's the way they should be operating.
We're going to take our first break right there. We're going to come back on the other side, dive a little bit more into the latest with what's going on with Giddey's contract, and then beyond that, still ahead, free agency, the fallout from Luka's deal, De'Aaron Fox's deal, and where the Bulls look to be in 2026 free agency. The GOAT's back, y'all. Hit the like. Quaffed ads. Today's show brought to you by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. What is Sunnyside? Well, it's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. It's your one-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs, featuring an expertly curated menu with over 100 different strains to choose from. That's right, triple digis. Plus, they offer easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Get in, get on with your day. Visit Sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including getting 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Just use promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Plus, for existing and returning customers, use promo code CHGO50 to get 50% off one Cresco Lab Brands item. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and older and Illinois Med Card holders.
It is hot as a Nelly song.
Whew.
That was a rapper, kids.
Hot and her.
4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric will take care of that for you. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your AC checked out. 4 Seasons experts are ready to help with your AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with 4 Seasons. New AC units for $39 a month and AC furnace combos for $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They do it all. Visit 4 Seasons Heating, Cooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. I don't think you heard me. 4 Seasons Heating, Cooling.com. Because for all the right reasons, Peck.
Call 866 4 Seasons. We roll along, CHGO Bulls on a Monday, hanging out at our West Loop office. Peck, Big Dave, Goat is back in the building. Katie on the controls. And shout out to Amanda Leonard, real quick, who, by the way, let us know he did hit the like button, and that you all should too. Mm-hmm. It's good advice.
It is.
Avoid the clap. Great advice. Hit the like button. Great advice.
What?
He said that for all the kids at Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Is that a reference I don't understand?
I'm sure it is.
Okay,
Do you know
all
the
right.
movie A League of Their Own, Katie? I would assume, even though you don't see any of the good movies, that is one that you would have seen. And
Actually,
appreciate.
I would think she had seen that.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen
Oh,
The
it.
movie
man.
about women playing baseball during World War II.
Haven't seen it.
I'm a
They
little
also
shocked.
rebooted it as a TV series,
They
like
really did.
recently.
No, they did. That's
with some
true.
pretty well-known female comedic actors in it. Mm-hmm. It's one of Tom Hanks' most iconic lines in anything he's ever done.
It's true.
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
And there's no crying in baseball.
There is also no crying at baseball. I prefer the avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan line. And a little kid reads it in a little kid's voice. And that's how he autographed the little kid's baseball,
That's true.
right?
Yes.
And then as the little kid's walking away, Tom Hanks yells out after him, that's good advice.
That was a good Hanks.
Oh, man.
Good Hanks.
Good Hanks.
Good Hanks. Good Hanks.
You're still missing the cutoff, man. That's something I'd like you to work on
Oh, man.
for next season.
What an awesome movie.
Such a good one.
Gina Davis was
Katie,
amazing.
Gina Davis,
was
incredible. Lori
outstanding.
Petty,
Oh, man.
come on.
Outstanding,
Homework,
bro.
Katie. Go home tonight, watch League of Their Own.
So Josh Giddey and his contract.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
days.
haven't talked about Josh Giddey's contract enough recently.
Oh, days. Arr, arr, arr.
Oh, I love it. So,
It's Goat's fault.
the last we've heard is that they, meaning the Bulls and Josh's people, still somewhere 8 to 10 million apart as far as average annual value salary goes. It seems like AK is 10 toes down
Yes.
from wherever he is on his side of the offer, and that Josh and his agent are 10 toes down. This is what I'm most curious about now.
them both.
On the heels of Mark saying this stuff about Quickley, it's like, okay, we know that this is an overpay for this caliber of a player. The Bulls aren't going to give Giddey this 5 years, 150 that he's looking for. Everybody seems to be talking about, well, just meet in the middle. He wants 30. The Bulls are closer or more comfortable with something closer to 20. So he'll probably end up getting 25 a year. And while you were out of town last week, we talked about that anonymous, front office executives poll about how they would pay Josh Giddey. And that there were some guys or some executives who were like, yeah, 5 years, 125, that was the most. We also saw some people saying, hey, how about 3 years and a more modest deal. I just don't get if it is like, let's just meet in the middle at 25. If that were the plan, that would be done by now. That's what I'm curious about. Like, is it really like they're holding firm and they're not offering much more than 20? And that's why no deal is done yet. Because I feel like Giddey and his agent will be like, especially if it's a multi-year deal, it's guaranteed money. 25 is not an unreasonable compromise to make. I wonder if the reason it's not done yet is that that's not even on the table.
That's a good point.
It is.
You know, it's so hard with all these guys, and I wonder like if Kuminga or Grimes or Cam Thomas are going to get done before Giddey, or like one of them is going to get done, and that kind of like starts the domino effect of the other three.
Yeah.
But it's just like there isn't even from the Bulls' perspective really a reason to compromise at 25. To your point, like they could just be saying no, it's 20, like take it or leave it. And I don't think that they would. It's not even really a take it or leave it situation because there's no leaving it for Giddey.
Yeah,
and that's where the leverage is. Yeah. And I think it's like it's tricky because you do want to balance the relationship. So maybe it like comes down to, okay, Giddey knows that he's going to have to take less, but now it's about the years. And like, would you rather take less over a long period of time to, you know, lock in as much guaranteed money as possible, or would you rather take less over a short period of time so that you can get back out in the market as an unrestricted free agent, you know, when you're 25, 26, or maybe even 23 or 24, to where you can sign a bigger contract in a marketplace where there is more money to go around and where maybe there's more information about who you are as a player, and that will leave any team with less questions about what he can bring. I do think that like this is another situation, as the Bulls have been in many times before, where the guy is more valuable to them than he would be to most other teams. You look around the league, Giddey is a tough fit, and that's why there was always these questions about should the Bulls have made this trade? Should they have, you know, gotten more picks back or whatever? Like Giddey's value around the league is probably not as high as it is within the Bulls organization because they've kind of built their offense around him and given him the keys and allowed him to be the one that has the ball, has the usage, and caters to his style of play. So if you're Giddey, like to me, you're not getting as much in terms of like annual dollars. What you probably want to do is get back out on the market sooner as an unrestricted free agent because you know you have an opportunity to really shine with the Bulls. You're going to get the keys. You're going to be able to put up box score stats. And maybe you have a run like you did at the last half of last year for 2 years. And now all of a sudden you're like a $35, $40 million a year player, or maybe more. And so for me, if you're the Bulls, you would be wanting to fight the opposite. You'd be saying like, yeah, sorry, we're not going to give you more dollars, but we also want to lock you in long term because we want you around and we want you to be on a good contract for a long time. That's how you get excess value in terms of trading, in terms of building your own roster, is having guys that are exceeding what you're paying them. And so giving him a short-term deal, yeah, you can like get off of it sooner. There's more flexibility with that. But at the same point, like you only want to pay guys short-term money if it's an overpay because then you can get off. If you're underpaying a guy or giving him like fair market value, you want to lock that in as long as you can because the longer it is, as the cap rises, even if it's not going up as much as we originally thought, you're still getting more value on the out years of that because the contract probably will be declining as it relates to the cap.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're right about all of that. And Giddey's only leverage is his play.
Right.
It's the only leverage that he has. That's why that's the only leverage
that's
he'll
also
have.
working against him in some ways because he had such a finish. No, I'm just saying like it's working against him in some ways because he had such a poor first 50 games.
Yeah.
And so it's really only those last 25 games that he's trying to bank his whole argument on.
Right. No. And I'm saying that going into this season though.
Right.
Like that his play is the only leverage that he has. Whatever he signs, however he does it, that's the only leverage that Josh Giddey has, is how he plays. So if he signs a 3-year deal and he gets to get back out there, you know, and get some serious money, what he does in that next 3 years will dictate everything, you know what I'm saying, for him. It will either make him look brilliant or the Bulls look brilliant, either way. Or they can make them both look brilliant if they both want to just still stay with each other. Or like I said, it's still out there, you know what I'm saying, for him to do that. But his play is his only leverage. And my question, though, to you is when you just started talking about that domino effect, I'm curious, who do you think needs what domino needs to fall to have all these restricted free agents, you know what I'm saying, fall in line? Because it feels like everybody's kind of waiting for each other. So if is it Giddey that has to go? Is it Kuminga that has to go? Is it Cam Thomas? Like, or does it even matter which one goes first, just as long as somebody goes first?
I think it probably has to be Kuminga because he's the one that like, I don't know if he's the best out of that group, but he's kind of like the most notable in some ways. And I think he's also most likely to be traded out of all those guys. And so if another team comes in, like the Suns, for example, and they say, we want to give you $30 million a year. It's going to be a 3-year contract. We want to give you the same Jalen Green style, like player option on the 3rd year, but like bloated 3-year contract. And the Warriors are like, okay, great. What are you going to send us back? And they work out a sign and trade. Now Giddey has that ammunition in his back pocket to say, well, this is the contract I want. 3 years, $30 million. So that I think could have an impact on what these other guys end up looking for. But at the same point, it's like, even in that scenario, that only got done because there was a third team or the second team that was interested in his services. And that's still not the case. And now there's one fewer team that can make a move like that.
Yes.
So to me, that would actually give the other teams more leverage to get their guy on a better deal. And maybe that would then come in as like the very top end of the bracket. If it's $30 million for Kuminga, which I don't think it would be, maybe it's 25 or even 20. Now the Bulls could say, well, Kuminga got 25 and there was another team interested. Nobody else wants to trade for you, so we're going to give you 20. And I think that's really like how the Bulls should be playing it. Like, we don't know what the end result will be, and we'll obviously like analyze that after it happens. But like, as far as what they are doing now in their process, it continues to be the right way to play it.
Yeah.
And the you know, the thing about Kuminga and the teams showing interest and even making reportedly like actual offers to the Warriors to facilitate a sign and trade because they want him. I got into what I could probably describe as the healthiest, friendly debate and exchange of differing viewpoints on Twitter.
I'm proud. Like, this is usually not how it happens.
With our pal Jamal from both sides.
Oh, somebody. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What, you think I get into healthy
mind.
exchanges of differing opinions with the assholes that exist on Twitter?
There it is.
No.
That's the Peck I know.
I got time for them. But no, so Jamal and I were going back and forth a little bit about the whole Kuminga thing and Giddey and how they're similar and how they're different. And he was stating like he thinks because everybody knows the Bulls want to keep Giddey and Giddey wants to get paid by the Bulls, that's prevented other teams from around the league in showing interest in the same level of reporting that teams have shown interest in Kuminga. And I said, Jamal, buddy, respectfully disagree. If a team wants a player, they're going to pursue that player.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, Giddey's like off limits because he and the Bulls are working on a deal and they're going to come to a deal. I think if there was interest in Josh Giddey from other teams, regardless of their financial situation, we would be hearing about it.
That is a good point.
We aren't.
That's a good point.
Therefore, all the more leverage on the Bulls side.
Yeah, because it would be like saying, the Bulls want to keep Michael Jordan. That means other teams are not going to come after Michael Jordan. Of course they are. It's Michael Jordan. Hey, what do you want, Mike? What do you need? What do you need?
Think about like this is why we
shout out Jamal.
This is why we've harped on the like limitations in his game. Obviously, he was outstanding in the second half of the year.
He was.
Nobody would deny that. He was putting up huge numbers. Part of it was due to the fact that he was shooting incredibly well. Part of it was due to the fact that he had confidence. He had the ball in his hands. He was getting to the free throw line. He was playing great. But the real issue is that like it's hard to build around a player that needs the ball in his hand, that struggles away from the ball, and that's not a good defensive player. And so it's really hard to justify, if you're another team, going out and not only giving up a lot of money to sign him to a contract, but giving up assets to the Bulls in order to get a sign and trade done. And so I think a lot of teams would be interested in him. The issue is that they just don't want to pay what he wants. Sure. And so again, that speaks to the power that the Bulls have in these negotiations of, yeah, he's probably going to be tradable if you get him on a good salary, which is why they need to do that. But you also have the leverage of there not being a lot of other suitors out there because of restricted free agency and because teams just aren't willing to give up draft capital for a guy that played really well for 25 games. Like, they need more information. I think the Bulls have been right to use that to their advantage.
He's right.
So we all know that, Dave is hanging out hope for that qualifying offer, and it's unlikely. But real quick,
but it's a petty reason.
Real quick before we go to break, Goat, you mentioned like, hey, maybe the shorter term deal. There's been more of that kind of talk as a possible solution for Giddey. Do you think that makes sense for both sides, like a 2 or 3 year deal, and then having him hit the open market again when he's still like barely 25?
For me, I would want him on a 4 or 5 year deal because I think there's more value
if you get it on a lower, average annual salary.
And there's no reason to move up. Like,
yeah.
I think they can. Like, for me, I think right now, I'm just guessing here, but like the range that they're operating on should not be 20 to 30. It should be 20 to 25. So if you can get him like 22 and a half for 4 or 5 years, I would feel really good about the 4th and 5th year being good value as compared to, you know, a 30 or 28 or $25 million a year for 3 years. Like, you just have to make another decision. And I think we saw that with Kobe and Aya, where it's like all of a sudden, even though they exceeded the value, those are kind of hampering the Bulls' flexibility because they have to make decisions and pay them market value now so soon. And I think the longer, it's obviously a risk because you could end up in a situation like Patrick where you're stuck with the guy. But I just don't think Giddey is that bad. I think he's going to produce numbers and be a, you know, productive player for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And so getting him on a good deal for that span, to me, should be the priority.
We got to knock out a couple more ads when we come back on the other side. Speaking of paying people, we're going to be talking about the 2026 free agent class, which is shrinking and has shrunk even more over the last few days. Hit the like.
Hit the like.
Hit the like. Today's show brought to you by Arena Club. Are you looking to buy, sell, trade, and rip open packs of cards? Arena Club is changing the card collecting hobby with their transparent slab packs and no-fee auctions. You got to check out these slab packs, y'all. Arena Club makes it easy to collect the cards you love. You can get authentic, graded cards instantly on Arena Club. You can decide, hold it, sell it, or have it shipped to you directly. And with slab packs, you can rip open a pack for as low as $25 and find a card there that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. From your digital showroom, you can trade, sell, auction, or retrieve your physical card from Arena Club. Yes, that's right. The packs are digital, but the cards are real. So check them out right now because you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO and use promo code CHGO. Arena Club, rip them.
Matt Peck, what time is it?
Get-o!
Last minute deals, y'all. It's one of the best things about Game Time. You can save up to 60% off of buying those last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you want to see. You can save money doing it, y'all. You already know they got those own deals, y'all. You already know they got the lowest price guarantee. You already know about that Game Time ticket coverage, which comes with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. But they got the seat views. Matt needs to know where he's at, where he can stretch out the Burks, where he can put them up at. Who's going to be in front? Where the beer's going to be? Where's the bathroom at? And most importantly, where is the exit? Because he wants to get out of here. You get all that with Game Time. So take the guess who I got to buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply. Terms apply.
I said CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply. Terms apply.
Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Because we'll go Gottlieb. What time is it? Yes.
He's back. CHGO Bulls rolls along Monday afternoon. Hit the like button now if you didn't do it during the ad break like Katie asked you to nicely. All right, gentlemen, next thing that we have to talk about, shout out to our pal Mark Stein. I don't know if you guys noticed this. It was almost simultaneous.
Okay.
But he beat Shams on the Luka contract tweet.
I didn't notice that.
By like maybe a second and a half.
Yeah, of course he did.
Because you get those notifications, you know, in chronological order of the people whose tweets alerts you have set for. Stein's was before Shams.
Oh.
Shout out Stein for getting that, baby.
Steinbaum.
It was, for all intents and purposes, a tie. But Stein was first.
Stein was first. Not a tie in my eyes.
The big news on Saturday is that Luka
Stein.
and the Lakers came to terms on a contract extension, 3 years, $165 million.
Congratulations, Luka.
Whew! Contains a player option for year 3.
Even more.
My goodness gracious, good for Luka. Stein also followed that up saying the player option sets Doncic up for a new 5-year deal after the 27-28 season, potentially worth in excess of $400 million. Woo! With 10 years of NBA service under his belt at that point.
Come on,
After
Luka.
his early morning workout, Luka and the Lakers made this long-anticipated deal official on the first day it was allowed. So anybody who was thinking, like, oh, man, is Luka even going to re-sign with the Lakers after this trade? First day.
He's staying. He's there.
What it made me think about was, like, by the end of this, Luka will have been in the league for 10 years. Like, it's like winning time for Luka. Like, if he wants to be one of the great players of all time, which he
MVP,
absolutely has the potential to be, like, he doesn't have an MVP to his name. He obviously missed a lot of time last year, and that's why he wasn't like an All-NBA player. But like, he got to the finals. I'm not saying he's like a slump. Like he's awesome. But like, this is a guy that like could be one of the 10 greatest players to ever play the game.
Could be.
And it's like time to get going. And not saying he needs to win in his first couple of years in the league. Obviously, Michael didn't. Obviously, LeBron didn't. Obviously, Steph didn't.
Well, I got to bring up old stuff.
But it's winning time if you're Luka Doncic. And I feel like he's set up now to make as much money as he can. Good for him. That's what he should be doing. But that's just what it made me think. Like right away, it was like, is this guy going to be the one that like takes the Lakers back to championship contention? And he absolutely can and should be. Yeah,
because, I mean, it's cruel as it is. That's what people are going to remember you for. Right. Is the accolades.
Try as LeBron might to boo-hoo ring culture.
Exactly. That's what you're going to be remembered for. Does he have an MVP? Does he have a finals MVP? Does he have a championship? And you're with the team like the Lakers now. So that kind of comes with the territory when you're a star or a superstar and you go to the Lakers. Immediately, that's what you're expected to bring them is a title or a trophy. They don't do Western Conference Finals. They do championships. So if you're not bringing them that, then, your legacy kind of goes straight down like that. But, again, this is not a diss to Luka. We know how cold he is. This is why he just signed the contract he did. But also kudos to him for getting a player option on that third year. I thought that was amazing and awesome. And again, continues to give him flexibility on his future because he plans on balling out really, really hard this season, man. And so if he does, like I expect him, as we all expect him to do, and then continue that in the next season, that's what's going to make it really, really interesting when it comes up to that third year. Does he still want to stay? Does he feel the team is going in the right direction? Is he cool with the coach? I mean, all these things come into play if Luka is doing what Luka does out there for them.
And the other thing is, like, Luka's in a situation where any team will give him everything that he wants.
Got that right.
Every single team would trade away assets to trade away players to create the space to sign him to a full max contract, trade, kicker, whatever raises he wants, player option. Like, he can get the full boat from whoever he wants. And so, I think like the player option is part of that leverage. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, we're just like talking about this in relation to Giddey, where it's like there aren't a lot of teams that are interested in his services right now. Luka could have whatever he wants. And so I think that's a big piece of it. But also for him, it's like, I'm sure he wants to be thought of as like not the guy that Nico Harrison thought was like, overweight and like not, Mamba mentality enough to win a championship. He wants to like get himself in shape and go win some titles. So I think that's just like how it is for him. I'm not saying he's going to stay in LA. I think it's rare that a player goes to LA and decides to leave. But like, in a couple of years,
Jerry. No one leaves.
LeBron being retired by the end of this is like probably likely, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, but like maybe he's not on the Lakers. He's on another team, but Bulls. He could also be retired. Like, what are they going to be able to do to build out the team around him in a way that's conducive to winning not just championship, but championships? And so you look at their cap sheet and the way they're set up now with a ton of money coming off the books, they're just in a really good spot. And that's really what it's all about. It's about getting the guy, not just a guy, the guy, and then putting him in a position to display that and to be the best player in the world and to take you to a championship and win one. You need to have the right pieces around you. But also I think we're in a league now where you can't just say like, we're going to have 3 max contracts and nothing else. Like you need depth. You need the right fit around these guys. It's not like building a 2K roster. And so I think they are just going to be in an interesting spot here for the next, I think after this year, to have a lot of money and it'll be curious to see how they build out the team in a way that they feel like best optimizes Luka's talent.
How old is Luka going to be after those 3 years?
First couple years of this deal?
I think he's 26 now. So
about 29, 30. So he still will, like you say, still in line to get another ridiculous contract after this one goes down. Like, and that's what just makes it even
like what Stein was tweeting. Like, he still could have a 5-year,
$400 million
all NBA player kind of max. That's above $400 million.
Insanity.
After this extension of a quick 3 years, 165.
Just a quick,
just a quick 3-year deal.
Dash. Skosh.
Kaboom.
Kerplunk.
So obviously Luke, but at the same time, it's interesting. You say 26, he'll be 27 in February. That's right around the time people start saying, "Hey, when are you going to win your first chip?" You know?
Oh, you are right.
So there's that factor too.
Yeah.
Then so that was like Bulls fans had a good laugh, like, "Oh shucks, AK can't pitch Luka."
Yeah.
There goes that part of the 2026 flexibility plan. I made fun of that notion myself because we all know Luka wasn't coming here. Luka probably wouldn't even take a meeting here. But it's the Bulls. No
He
one
was
cares.
just here. What do you mean?
Yeah, he was out. Shout out to Luka and Giannis. We're both around the streets of
Yeah,
Chicago this
just hanging
weekend.
out.
Handing out free shoes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Shout out to both of them.
Shout out
Neither of them are coming here.
Yeah.
But on the heels of that, we have another domino fall. And
Okay.
again, I think a predictable one because De'Aaron Fox, when he said, hey, Kings, I'm not going to re-sign. Get me up out of here. Here's a preferred destination or two. De'Aaron Fox earlier today, Shams breaking the news, has agreed to a 4-year, $229 million contract extension with his new franchise, the Spurs. Secures Fox's future in San Antonio through the 2029-2030 season. And when we start getting into the 2030s, I'm like, okay, hit the self-destruct button. These years are there are too many years.
Really?
This sounds futuristic nonsense to say 2030. It's crazy.
It's literally 5
What
years.
year is it?
Just 5 years away.
Yeah, I know, and that's freaking terrifying.
Better get ready.
I'm pressing my self-destruct button.
Oh, man.
Y'all can hang out. But
Thanks.
so,
Thanks.
De'Aaron Fox off the board, Luka Doncic off the board. I think it begs the question, like, we keep hearing from AK about the financial flexibility and the great cap work he's done to move Zach's contract and limit their long-term deals so that when 2026 rolls around and hopefully some of the younger guys on the roster have taken some developmental steps in their games, they could be a destination for quality talent that wants to come play here.
Yeah.
The question is like who's left and who would they pursue? But on the heels of that, I think just as important of a question is because of some recent moves they've made, like the Trey Jones signing, like bringing in Isaac Okoro via trade, can they even open up substantial space, sufficient space, to offer a max contract to fill in the blank of said player who's max contract worthy next summer? Because those are fascinating questions that I think Bulls fans might not love the answers to right now.
Well, first of all, just it's crazy to see those numbers. Like, I think we have talked a lot about $30 million being too much for Josh Giddey, $25 million being maybe even still too much. Like, De'Aaron Fox's number starts at $51 million. It goes up to 63 in the final year of that deal.
Shot
Good for
out.
him.
Like
Good for him.
that's, I mean, that could be 3 times what Giddey is making that year.
That's 2
So just an
Giddeys.
incredible amount of money. And I think that they probably had that deal sorted out at the time of the trade, which is why it got done when it did, because this was like the first day that it was he was allowed to sign that contract. But like, was anybody really going to sign De'Aaron Fox for 4 years, $230 million? Like, I think it's easy to say, like, you sign your guys to a max contract, and I think 5 years ago that was true. That's why Zach LaVine got his max contract. It's just not true anymore. And I just think, like, Fox is an incredible player. I just don't know if you can justify giving your second or third best player a max contract anymore. Like, no matter who it is.
Wow.
Like, they're going to have to pay Wembanyama. He is a max player. He's a true max player. You've got Dylan Harper on a rookie scale contract. Maybe that's why they feel okay with that. Maybe they make a big trade. You know, they've got like awesome pieces and picks that they can move for a Giannis or something. But it's like, okay, you're going to pay Wemby, Giannis, and Fox all the max and not have any depth behind them. It's an incredible trio. But like, is that how teams are built to win in today's NBA? I mean, I'm not saying no, but like just the last couple of years, we've seen depth be the answer. So that part of it is interesting, and that part of it I think will be something that we continue to monitor as the CBA ages. Like, I don't think we fully have or are able to or really should be able to grasp all of the different ramifications of like how money is being restricted now. So that's just kind of like the thing about that number specifically. But then you look at it as it relates to the Bulls and what their cap sheet is going to look like, and the fact that Arturas and Mark Eversley have now mentioned several times that financial flexibility is coming after next season. They've got, I think, 5 players coming off of the books next year, a total of $82.7 million. They've got Vooch expiring. They've got Zach Collins. They've got Kevin Huerter. They've got Kobe and Io, obviously, Javon Carter. So basically their team is like pretty thin, and that puts them in a position where they can maybe be a player in free agency. But you think about it, and one, how much space do they actually have? We can talk about it. And 2, those were the two big free agents, Fox and Luka, and those guys are off the board now. And so, like, how would you want to even be spending your money? Are the Bulls going to have a max player, or are they going to go this route of having, not just like 9 to 10 very good players, but also 0 max guys and just have like solid players, depth throughout?
9 to 10 perhaps.
9 to 10 players who are all making, $10 to $20 million versus 2 guys that are making a max, and then a couple guys on veteran minimums and a handful of guys making around the mid-level.
Let me ask you this. With De'Aaron Fox's contract, do you think it makes it harder for the Spurs to trade him because of that? Or is the cap rising or going down to where it won't really matter in a few years?
I think that it'll absolutely be hard to trade that contract. And that's why I was a little wary of it. Not because I think he's like a bad player.
Right. I'm asking that because he's not like that superstar echelon kind of guy.
Like, I think he's like, it's not going to be the
cold,
same
though.
situation
He's cold.
as the Bulls with Zach, where it was like there weren't any options, because I think he's a better player, but it's just tough to move that kind of money when teams are so hesitant to take on that amount of money. I think the other key piece of this that we've talked about a little bit, but it's still not like totally certain at this point, is that 2 months ago, we thought that the cap was going up 10% every single year for the next 5 years throughout the rest of this decade. And it seems like now that is not going to be the case.
Right.
So now it's supposed to go up 7% next year and then about 5% the years after that. So that's significant. And the reason why is that a lot of these contracts are set up to go up by 8% annually, right? So if the cap is only rising by 5% and the contracts are rising by 8%, the contracts are rising at a faster rate than the cap, which means that by the end of those deals, they will be a larger percentage of the cap than we thought before, where we thought it was going up by 10%, 8% rises in the salaries. That means that you'll have more space in terms of your cap sheet than you would if it was going up by less than that. So I think that's a really big deal here, and I think that's why it's also going to be harder to move that, because as that contract goes on, it's going to go, it's going to be roughly the same, but it's going to go up to 33.5% of the salary cap in that final year. And that's just a really big number.
Yeah.
It's a really big number to move. And again, it's why I've been, optimistic about how they're handling Giddey, is that they want to get him on a smaller percentage of the cap so that they can manage it more easily, whether they keep him or try to trade him.
Right.
So let's take a look at the Bulls cap sheet, Katie, if you want to put that up. And these are some, rough figures in a couple of instances, obviously, with cap holds for Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu both entering the final year of their 3-year contracts, and assuming that the Bulls do, in fact, keep and use their own first-round pick in 2026, which will probably be 12th. Haha. Giddey projection, we put him at that $25 million average annual salary figure, 15% of the cap, and the wealthiest figure on the payroll. So, as of August 2025, this is what they have on their books, assuming they do re-sign Josh, and they also re-sign Kobe, and they re-sign Ayo, or at least they're the cap hold figures you can take a look at. When you look down, it's like that part of AK's thing has been true. It's like their books coming into the 26-27 season, pretty minimal. Okoro now added to that bunch, as well as Trey Jones. Right. But when you look at, on the right, that smaller little table, projected cap space of not quite $38 million, and of course well shy of the luxury tax line. But you're talking about collectively between Trey Jones's 8 and Okoro's almost 12, about $20 million fewer dollars in cap space than what maybe AK was spouting about, bragging about, or at least planning to have. Because that, as you were saying, before we came onto the set, $57 million, you're talking about having space to offer a max contract while still staying under that luxury tax line. $37 million in today's NBA is not a max contract. So how does that impact at all, if it does, what AK and Eversley are thinking for this summer of 2026 that they keep telling Bulls fans to hold out for?
Yeah, Katie, can you throw the graphic back up there for a second? Because I want to look at it as it relates to the tax line and the cap line. So that's a little too small for my eyes, so I got to look at the one I sent you.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so $37 million away from the cap, which means you have $37 million in cap space that you can throw at free agents. The last couple of years, the Bulls have been above the salary cap, but below the luxury tax. And that's really the number that they have to look out for, or that they're going to look out for.
Right.
But the way that you have to do your contracts here does matter. And so I think the way to think about this is you use the low cap holds. You can see Kobe's and Io's low cap holds, 14 and 24 million, to then basically place a hold on your cap sheet, and then you can use the remaining space that you have as cap space. So if they wanted to fill out the final 4 spots of the roster, 5 spots of the roster, whatever it is, they would have $37 million to do that, and then they could go above the cap, stay below the tax, and re-sign Kobe and Io. They could also use their mid-level exception, so they would have some optionality and flexibility with that. So it's not like you have $37 million here to sign a free agent and then that's it. It's you have $37 million to give a max free agent, and then you still have, whatever it is, $36 million between there and the tax line where you can pay your own guys to retain them, whether that's Kobe and Io or Kevin Huerter or Collins or whoever you decide to bring back, or maybe use the full mid-level exception, which I think will probably be around, it's $14 million this year. I'm not sure what it will be next year. So basically, the Bulls will have a lot of flexibility, and they will be able to bring back their guys, and they will be able to sign somebody else in free agency and bring in a good player. The issue is that it's not going to be a max player, and it's not going to be a player that is deserving of the max, right? And so $37 million is a lot of money, and a couple years ago, that was pretty close to the max. Next year, $35 million is 21% of the cap. So you look at some other players that are in that same range. I mean, it's
wow.
It's
Wow.
Just it's not that much money. You're signing a player that's slightly better than the mid-level exception, but it's Anthony Simons or something. It's not, it's not a franchise-changing player. And so I think that's starting to shake out. And the Bulls probably knew that, and that's why they brought back Trey Jones and brought in Isaac Okoro, because they knew they didn't need to clear out full max space, because they knew that Luka and Fox were going to re-sign, and there's no one else really available. But it's just okay, then now you really are putting all of your eggs into the build from within basket, right? The guys on your team have to hit and become star players that exceed their contracts, or you have to get lucky in the lottery. There's no more we're signing a max free agent to come in and be the we can take a look at the guys. It's just there's no one really.
For the sake of the exercise, we can take a look at ranked highest to lowest, the top part of that shelf compared based on their previous average annual value. The free agents, or could be free agents, depending on their player options, next summer. Obviously, it's a bunch of old guys. LeBron, not coming here. Kevin Durant just got traded to the Rockets. Probably has a little interest. Number 3 on the list is Zachary Levine. Trey Young, and as you see on that chart, Katie has noted the asterisks for the players on player options. Trey Young, James Harden, McCollum and Middleton, Kristaps, Hartenstein, Wiggins, Tobias Harris, Van Vliet, and Draymond. And the name beneath Draymond's on that list is, in fact, who you just mentioned, Anthony Simons, GOAT. Collins, Rozier, KCP, Vooch is next on the list after that. Harrison Barnes, Norman Powell, Sexton, Nurkic, Collins. Hey, he's a Bull right now. Bogdanovich, Rui, Lou Dort, Kevin Huerter.
Velvet.
I just ran through the list of names to about in the mid-teens of average annual value impending free agents for next year.
That's interesting. I mean, very top-heavy name-wise.
Yeah.
Very top-heavy, but you said.
Bunch of uncles.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Guys who you don't know. You're not too sure they're going to be doing that thing.
Those future Hall of Famer names are not Bulls targets next
Exactly.
time. None of them.
And their future Hall of Fame is shortened because they're getting close to that time of retirement. So, yeah, man, that's not a great list right there. Anytime you got Zach LaVine third and also got Isaiah Hartenstein on that same thing, damn. But looking at those top names, those are still sexy names, out there for teams to look at. James Harden is still a sexy name, for a team to look at. And as long as these guys are still actually producing, we know their age, they're still producing out there. Like LeBron is still producing, and Harden is still producing. Kevin Durant is still producing. It's why they make the trade they did to get him over there to the Rockets. But as long as these guys are still producing, how much of their age is going to factor in to teams that are desperate to get somebody on their team who they feel can not only bring people in, but can get them closer to a championship?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing is a lot of these guys are going to stay with their current teams.
Right.
And there's a lot of other teams with cap space. So it's a more competitive marketplace where you're going to have to overpay to get guys. That's why the Bulls are in a position with Giddey now. But next year, that might not be the case. You might have to overpay to get a guy to come to you because he's got so many other offers. You have to sweeten the deal a little bit. So I think that's competing with the Bulls too. And I think ultimately what this comes down to is they're just not going to be real players in free agency. Maybe they could get Isaiah Hartenstein to come in and be the starting center. I think that'd be an awesome fit. We've been saying that for years.
Say you.
I've been saying that for years. But like, there's just not a lot of other good options there. And I think that ultimately, if they're going to bring somebody in, it's going to have to be via trade. And I think this year is kind of the chance to do that because once you sign Kobe and Ayo to these longer term deals, you don't have as much space. Once your expiring contracts are off the books, you don't have anything to trade away. So I think this first part of this season where the Bulls have their roster in place, Giddey's probably back. Like, depending on how they look, I think this could be a real important time where if they get off to a good start, like they have to be thinking about putting some picks together, trading some expiring salaries to go out and get another good player. You think about the way that the Pacers did it. It was a bunch of young players. You had Andrew Nembhard on a second, he's like a second round pick exception, making almost nothing. You had Aaron Nesmith making almost nothing. Halliburton was still on his rookie contract. Miles Turner was making like $20 million. He was underpaid. That's when you go out and you trade for Pascal Siakam, who's making a big contract. Yeah. You extend him, and then you still have the ability to go above the cap to re-sign your own players, which is what they did with Halliburton, Nesmith, and Nembhard. And now they're locked in. Obviously, they've made trades and things like that since then. But that's, I think, the model that the Bulls are going to have to follow, which is get off to a good start, prove that you're a real team, that you look like you're competing, and that your players are trending the right direction. And then you have to go out and trade for a guy because that's, I mean, we've used the term pre-agency. Like, that's the way that you're able to do it. And if not, then I think you have to start thinking about deconstructing and going the other way, because what you really don't want is to lock into Kobe and Ayo, get yourself above the cap with long-term contracts to where now you aren't a cap space team in the future. You don't have that flexibility to be able to trade for a guy or sign a guy in free agency. You can't kick the can down the road if you want to keep your guys, right? And so
you just said the thing that the Bulls love doing the most, Goat.
But that's why I think this offseason and this trade deadline is going to be so critical for the Bulls, because they're losing that opportunity. The financial flexibility is great until you have to make decisions. And next year is when you have to make decisions. And so that's why this deadline, I think, is going to be really critical. If they aren't good, I think they're going to have to trade away some guys and really build around Modest and Noah. If they are good, I think this is when you put the pedal to the floor a little bit and accelerate things, because you've got a couple of young guys that are good on rookie scale contracts. Maybe if Noah and Modest are looking really good, Giddey's playing well, Kobe's playing well, you can justify putting some pieces together to go out and bring in another player. That's true. Because that's the core.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll have to pause the conversation there for today. Again, we still got to figure out what happens with Josh Giddey before we can start worrying about 2026 free agency and if and when that will happen, who it might be that the Bulls are interested in. But because of the news from Luke over the weekend and De'Aaron Fox today, we've thought it would be worth a chat. Before we get out of here, real quick, Katie, what was the result of the poll? And do we have enough likes?
We don't have enough likes. Hit the
Let's
button,
get the
please,
likes up.
or I will be under your bed tonight. The poll question was, what is your preferred type of vacation, since Mr. Goat just came back?
That's right.
The winner with 40% of the vote was a relaxation-focused
Boom.
vacation.
Winner.
Number 2 was city exploration.
Okay.
Number 3, nature/hiking. And last was a staycation.
I think that's probably what I would have anticipated the results being, with maybe city exploration and nature hiking flip-flopped. Yeah. But I can believe it either way.
Yeah, true. True indeed.
I voted a relaxation.
I think all of them work.
All of them work.
I think all of them pretty much work.
All of them work?
Except for the city exploration. I ain't doing that.
I feel like...
Well, that's not true. No, that's not true. I'll just do it myself. Like, I'm not the plan it out person. Like, I'm just going to go.
I like a combination.
combination of
if you'd
exploration and relaxation.
If you can give me a combination of 2 of the 4, I'm happy.
Totally.
Okay.
You know what Tulum is great for? Exploring. You know what
Okay.
Tulum is also great for?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. And undisclosed location, wherever Goat was, and came back refreshed and ready to go.
Look at it.
For another week of dog days.
Check out the quaff.
We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. Follow the GOAT, Will Gottlieb. CHGO.com is where you can read his great stuff.
Bow.
Become a diehard so you can read it. Big day. Bow. BNWL starts. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. The queen of the controls and the queen of Lala.
Oh, man.
And the queen of good Samaritan deeds done yesterday. Katie Duffy. See you tomorrow. Have a great night, Bulls Nation. See you, Rubby Good.
Hit Katie back and say hi.
We all silly like the mayor.